Master these 10 female weaknesses and take control. Stoicism, Old Stoic wisdom. Welcome back, gentlemen. Today, we're about to dive into a topic that eludes most men: the subtle psychological triggers that influence female attraction. You know the type? Those women who appear totally self-assured and in control. But here's the thing. There are certain men who can still capture her attention. Why? Because attraction isn't about looks, wealth, or status alone. It's about tapping into the deeper emotional currents that guide her choices. The truth is, every woman, whether she's fiercely independent or seemingly untouchable, has unconscious patterns that steer her behavior. Some men, without lifting a finger, naturally draw her in. Meanwhile, others, despite giving it their all, end up in the friend zone or forgotten altogether. But once you unlock these 10 psychological keys, you'll stop guessing and start understanding what truly works. You'll realize why some men are effortlessly pursued while others remain invisible. More importantly, you'll know how to flip the script in your favor, all while keeping your integrity intact. No games, no manipulation. If you're ready to decode the complexities of female psychology and learn how to shape her response to you, stick with me. We're about to uncover some powerful insights. Let's jump in. 1. The craving for emotional escapism. One of the most misunderstood dynamics of attraction is the craving for emotional escapism. While many men mistakenly believe that status, stability, or appearance are the driving forces behind a woman's attraction, the truth is far more complex. Women are not primarily drawn to a man for what he has or how he looks. They are drawn to how he makes them feel. It's the emotional experience that captivates them, the excitement, the unpredictability, and the adventure that temporarily takes them away from their routine lives. It's not simply the man himself that draws them in, but the emotional whirlwind he creates. This is why women are often intrigued by mysterious men, those who challenge them both intellectually and emotionally. There's a magnetic pull that draws them to men who introduce novelty and depth, and they often find themselves fascinated by the allure of unconventional or even forbidden relationships. But here's the thing. The key is not just to be unpredictable, it's to create an emotional experience that resonates deeply with her. Most men, unfortunately, fail at this because they fall into patterns of predictability. They send the same boring messages, use the same conversational tactics, and prioritize comfort over any kind of emotional stimulation. They think being agreeable, easygoing, and dependable is the answer. But in doing so, they actually diminish their ability to attract. The problem is that predictability isn't exciting. It doesn't create tension, and it certainly doesn't spark desire. It numbs it. A woman may appreciate a dependable man in her life, but she won't fall in love with one who is too safe or too accommodating. No, she needs something more. She needs contrast. A man who can make her feel a variety of emotions, from intrigue to laughter to challenge, will captivate her attention in ways that a predictable, safe man never could. This doesn't mean manipulating or playing games. It means understanding the value of spontaneity and depth. It's about challenging her ideas, sparking intellectual conversations, and telling stories that take her into a different world, something far beyond the ordinary superficial chatter. Instead of constantly nodding in agreement, take a different approach, challenge her perspective. Keep a sense of mystery about yourself, rather than laying everything out in the first conversation. Women are not looking for chaos, but they are drawn to emotional depth. They need that dynamic emotional experience to feel truly alive. And when a man can create that emotional roller coaster without resorting to tricks or manipulation, he becomes unforgettable. As the famous philosopher Seneca wisely said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." A woman who experiences the emotional ups and downs with a man will often find herself irresistibly drawn to him, sometimes in ways she cannot explain. So, if you're a man who wants to master this subtle art of emotional connection, it's time to step outside the safe zone, create contrast, and build emotional depth. This is the kind of attraction that stands the test of time. Now I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? Have you experienced this dynamic in your own life? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let's discuss. 2. The unspoken addiction to strong boundaries. When it comes to attracting a woman, many men believe that being overly accommodating or endlessly agreeable will earn them affection. They try to be available at all times, thinking this will impress her. However, what they fail to realize is that attraction isn't built on constant availability or an eagerness to please. In fact, it often has the opposite effect. Women are naturally drawn to men who maintain strong, clear boundaries. They value men who stay true to themselves, hold their ground, and don't compromise their values in order to gain approval. In fact, a man who bends over backward to please a woman may find himself overlooked, disrespected, and labelled as too nice. Attraction thrives on contrast and respect, not on endless agreement. Women have an innate instinct to test a man's strength, confidence, and emotional resilience, whether they're aware of it or not. These tests can be subtle, but they serve a critical purpose: to evaluate whether a man will hold his ground or buckle under pressure. She might cancel plans last minute just to see if he'll chase after her, provoke him to gauge his emotional reaction, or dominate a conversation to test whether he'll shrink back or stand firm. If a man reacts emotionally, overcompensates, or seeks constant validation, he unknowingly lowers his value in her eyes. The key to overcoming these challenges is simplicity itself. Stand firm. Learn to say no when necessary. Prioritize your personal goals over constantly adjusting to her needs, and maintain a strong sense of self. These actions not only signal self-respect, but also make it clear that you won't be manipulated. Women are instinctively drawn to men who are emotionally stable and confident, those they can't easily control. When a woman sees that a man isn't easily swayed, that he maintains his principles and his emotional balance, she will stop testing him. This is when the respect and lasting attraction truly begin to build. Respect is the foundation of any deep, lasting relationship, and it is earned through a consistent display of strength and self-worth. The wisdom of the Stoics echoes in this truth. True strength comes from standing firm in your values, never compromising for the sake of approval, and always maintaining your emotional equilibrium. So remember, when she pulls away or tests you, don't chase after her. Instead, stand firm in your worth, maintain your boundaries, and let your actions speak louder than your words. If this resonated with you, comment below, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Don't forget to subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. Comment to remember, I stand firm in my worth. 3. The thrill of uncertainty. Attraction thrives on uncertainty. It's the thrill of the unknown that keeps us coming back for more. Whether it's a gripping novel, a suspenseful TV show, or a nail-biting movie, the mystery is what hooks us in. You need look no further than the stories of ancient warriors who thrived in the chaos of battle to understand this principle. Unpredictability is the spice of life, and it fuels desire. The same principle holds true in relationships, especially when it comes to women. When everything becomes predictable, when every move is anticipated, the spark fades. A woman, much like a man, needs the feeling of challenge, the unknown to keep her emotionally engaged. If you're too available, too predictable, you're playing the game wrong. When you instantly respond to her messages, clear your schedule at the slightest request, or pour out your emotions too soon, you strip away the mystery that keeps attraction alive. You make it too easy, too certain. The result? The thrill vanishes, and with it, the desire. Attraction, after all, is not born of logic, but of emotion, and emotions are stirred by tension, not certainty. As the great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." You need to be the man who doesn't give everything away too easily. Control the uncertainty in your interactions. This doesn't mean playing games or being manipulative, but it's about understanding the psychology of desire and tapping into that power. Make her wonder. Hold back. Let the silence linger a little longer than usual. Allow her to feel the tension that comes from not knowing exactly where you stand or what you're thinking. Men who have mastered this create an air of mystery that women can't resist. They don't overextend themselves. They value their time, and that makes them intriguing. And when you do give her attention, make it count. Validation should be rare, but meaningful when it comes. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about creating a dynamic where she feels the need to earn your presence and affection. Challenge her emotionally, and she will respond. She'll stay engaged, interested, and craving more of what you offer. In a world where everything can feel predictable, being the man who understands and applies the power of uncertainty will set you apart. You won't just be the man she settles for. You'll be the man she desires, the one she can't get enough of. In life, just like in relationships, unpredictability is the secret weapon to keeping things alive and dynamic. And when used wisely, it will make all the difference in how you're perceived. Be the man who brings excitement into the game and watch the desire for you grow. Don't wait. Apply this today, and you'll see the difference in how she responds to you. Like, comment, and subscribe, and share how you plan to bring mystery into your interactions. Your thoughts matter. What are you going to do to master the art of attraction today? 4. The magnetic pull of leadership. Women are instinctively drawn to men who radiate confidence and take charge, not through dominance, but through direction and decisiveness. It's not about asserting control. It's about leading with purpose and clarity. A man who knows where he's headed, moves with assuredness, and makes decisions without hesitation naturally commands respect. This trait is universally admired because it speaks to a woman's desire for security and trust. She doesn't fantasize about following a man who is unsure of himself, passive, or constantly looking for validation. No, women crave the presence of a man who can stand firm, take charge, and make decisions with conviction. The truth is, leadership isn't about control or overpowering someone. It's about showing strength in your choices and actions, creating a sense of stability in any situation. Think about it. When it comes to everyday interactions, this principle becomes clear. Take something as simple as planning a date. A woman would much rather follow a man who confidently takes the reins, planning a night that reflects his interests and strengths, than one who fumbles for approval, asking, "What do you want to do?" The latter can make her feel as if there's no vision or certainty, while the former conveys a sense of purpose and security that is undeniably attractive. When a man stands firm in his opinions and decisions, it builds respect. Conversely, a man who shifts his opinions to avoid conflict or disagreement lacks the consistency that makes him trustworthy. Indecisiveness, as subtle as it may seem, is a silent attraction killer. It erodes a man's perceived strength, making him appear weak, uncertain, and ultimately unappealing. But taking the lead doesn't mean disregarding her thoughts or feelings. It means guiding the dynamic with confidence while still respecting her perspective. Instead of waiting passively for her input on every little thing, a man who leads can say, "We're going here. I think you'll love it." He's not just asking for approval, he's making an informed decision that shows he's in control of the situation and values her company enough to share it with her. This leadership doesn't diminish her voice. It empowers it, creating an environment where both feel secure and valued. It's about creating a relationship dynamic where she knows that even in uncertain times, he is someone who can be trusted to act and lead with integrity. Leadership is not about arrogance. It's about quiet assurance. A man who leads confidently without needing to prove himself exudes a kind of calm strength that is irresistibly attractive. It's the kind of energy that lets her know she can rely on him, that he can make decisions, and that he will guide both of them toward a shared future. As the great philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that a man who faces challenges with calm decisiveness, even in moments of adversity, shows true leadership. He earns respect not through force, but through his ability to navigate life with clear direction and purpose. women are naturally drawn to men who stand firm in their beliefs, make decisions without hesitation, and, above all, create a sense of security through their actions. Respect is the foundation of attraction, and respect is earned through leadership. A man who can confidently take charge, without arrogance but with quiet confidence, becomes the kind of man a woman admires, trusts, and desires. So, if you want to cultivate a stronger connection and attract the right kind of respect, remember, take the lead, make decisions with confidence, and trust your ability to guide both of you forward. This kind of leadership will not only shape your relationships, but will also define your own path as a man of strength and wisdom. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think makes a man truly magnetic in relationships? Share your insights in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. Comment below, I lead with confidence and purpose. And 5. The desire for a man who doesn't need her. The desire to be a man's sole focus may seem flattering, but in reality, women do not want to be the centre of his universe. This is a common misconception that many men fall into, showering a woman with constant attention, devotion, and prioritising her above all else. When a man abandons his own ambitions, dreams, and personal growth to focus solely on her, he unknowingly diminishes his own appeal. Women are naturally drawn to men who have a purpose beyond the relationship, who have direction in life, and who are deeply committed to their journey. They don't want to be the reason a man wakes up every morning. What they seek is to be part of something greater than themselves. This is why men who are driven, who pursue their goals relentlessly, and who are genuinely engaged in their personal mission, tend to be the most magnetic. A man who is deeply immersed in his work, whether that's building a business, mastering a craft, or pursuing a meaningful passion, naturally exudes an air of confidence, self-assurance, and ambition. Women find this energy irresistible because it signals strength, stability, and the ability to lead, qualities that are essential in a partner. On the other hand, when a woman senses that she is the only source of a man's fulfillment, the attraction quickly fades, and the relationship becomes stifling rather than empowering. To keep a woman interested, a man must prioritize his mission above all else. He should never compromise his goals, change his plans, or revolve his entire existence around her. When a man sticks to his schedule, remains unpredictable, and is steadfast in his pursuit of what matters to him, he holds far more power in the relationship. Women admire men who value themselves, their time, and their personal growth. When a woman sees that a man does not need her to feel complete, she respects him even more, feeling lucky to be part of his world. This principle is rooted in the wisdom of the Stoics, who believe that a man should always stay true to his own path and never lose sight of his own worth. A man who is self-sufficient, independent, and unwavering in his purpose commands respect, not only from others, but from himself as well. So, remember, while love and affection are essential in any relationship, the key to maintaining a woman's attraction lies in remaining true to your mission and understanding that your own growth and success should never take a back seat. A woman will respect you more when she sees that you don't need her to feel whole, but instead cherish her presence as a valuable part of your journey. 6. Women are drawn to men who are selective. Women are instinctively drawn to men who hold themselves to high standards, men who are selective in their choices and who do not waste their attention on just anyone. A man who is deliberate in where he invests his time and energy holds a value that women find irresistible. His value is not rooted in constant validation or desperate attention-seeking. Instead, he moves with purpose, understanding that his approval is something to be earned, not handed out freely. This calculated approach elevates his status in a woman's eyes, intensifying her desire for his approval. Too often, however, men make the mistake of being overly eager, showering a woman with compliments, giving her attention too quickly, and overloading her with praise. While it may seem like a gesture of interest, this behaviour often backfires, lowering the man's perceived value in her eyes. As the philosopher Seneca said, No man is free who is not master of himself. The man who chases any woman willing to give him attention is not seen as desirable, he is seen as desperate. On the other hand, a man who holds himself back, who maintains an air of mystery, becomes a challenge, a prize to be won. And women want to feel like they have earned the approval of a man who is selective. They crave the sense of competition, the feeling that their efforts have real value. When a man is selective, he forces the woman to invest emotionally, which strengthens the bond and builds attraction. He does not compliment to please. His words are measured and deliberate, acknowledging only the qualities that genuinely impress him. This scarcity of validation makes his praise feel powerful. The man who is careful with his attention and time unknowingly creates an environment where his validation is rare, but when given, it is felt deeply. Women respect men who challenge them, men whose approval is not easily attained. As Marcus Aurelius put it, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. The man who sets the bar high naturally attracts women who are willing to rise to meet it. He transforms the dynamic. He is no longer the one seeking approval. He becomes the one who decides. This is the essence of true confidence, and this confidence is what keeps women captivated, often even when they don't fully understand why. If you want to master the art of attraction, you must understand that true power comes from being selective, from maintaining that air of mystery, and from not giving your attention away easily. Be the man who has high standards, who is not desperate for validation, and you will become the one who women chase. This is the power of being selective. Make it your own. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're ready to embrace the power of selectivity and take control of your relationships. You're ahead of most men. Now it's time to take control and set your standards high. What high standard will you set for yourself today? Comment below. I set my own standards and take control. Let's see who's ready to lead. 7. Women are emotionally addicted to drama. Many women claim they desire a stable, dependable man. Yet ironically, they often find themselves irresistibly drawn to relationships filled with emotional highs and lows. The intense unpredictability, the rush of passion, and even the temporary emotional distance create a dynamic that becomes almost addicting. It's not always the person they're attached to, it's the emotional experience the relationship brings. This explains why breakups often lead to passionate reunions, and why some women stay in relationships that, on the surface, seem unhealthy or toxic. They're not just emotionally connected to the person, they're emotionally addicted to the drama, the constant emotional roller coaster. Men who are overly predictable, always emotionally available, and never introduce any emotional tension often struggle to keep her attraction alive. Sure, stability feels safe, but it doesn't ignite desire. A relationship can quickly become monotonous when a man is always agreeing with everything she says, constantly responding to her every need, and never creating any emotional contrast. Without these emotional spikes, women lose interest, often without understanding why. The reality is, women crave variety, and when a relationship lacks those emotional peaks, whether it's playful teasing, moments of distance, or excitement, they begin to feel detached, no matter how much they care. The answer isn't to be manipulative or toxic, but to recognize the importance of emotional contrast. A man who's confident enough to challenge her, to tease her in a playful way, and who doesn't always make himself available on demand, introduces a sense of mystery and excitement that women naturally gravitate toward. It's not about playing games, but about creating a dynamic that keeps her intrigued. If she misbehaves or starts taking him for granted, stepping back slightly can make all the difference. It's a powerful strategy that lets her feel the difference in his absence, making her realize just how valuable his presence truly is. This doesn't mean being emotionally distant all the time. It's about striking the right balance between emotional availability and creating moments that keep her emotionally engaged. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca wisely said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." The key to mastering attraction lies in controlling your emotional availability and knowing when to create the emotional distance that allows her to feel the value of your presence. Women are drawn to men who provide an emotional experience not just predictability and stability. When a man can balance these emotional contrasts, he becomes someone she can't stop thinking about, someone who creates a lasting impression. So, gentlemen, if you want to become that man, embrace the emotional dynamics of a relationship and understand that unpredictability, within reason, can be the key to a deeper connection. What are your thoughts on this emotional contrast? Have you ever experienced a relationship where this balance made all the difference? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. 8. Women are intrigued by men who are hard to read. Women have an innate attraction to mystery, and this is a powerful truth when it comes to relationships. While men may believe that transparency is the key to building trust, being too eager to explain oneself, too predictable in behavior, or overly available can actually take away one of the most crucial elements of attraction: curiosity. When a woman can read a man like an open book from the very beginning, there's nothing left for her to discover. What once felt intriguing quickly becomes mundane, and the excitement fades. Many men unknowingly make themselves too easy to figure out. They share every thought, every plan, and every feeling without hesitation, thinking that this openness will make the woman feel secure and deepen the connection. They respond instantly to every message, always available and eager to please. These behaviors may seem like signs of a good partner, but in reality, they diminish attraction. Women are not looking for total transparency. They are drawn to the unknown, the mystery that keeps them engaged and curious. A man who understands this dynamic knows that he must maintain a level of intrigue. He doesn't rush to reveal all his emotions, thoughts, and future plans right away. Instead, he allows a woman to slowly peel back the layers and piece together who he is over time. He doesn't act predictably in every situation. Sometimes, he surprises her, challenges her assumptions, or leaves her with questions that keep her thinking. His presence isn't guaranteed at all times, and because of this, she values it more when it's there. Men who keep just enough of themselves hidden, who don't make themselves fully accessible or easy to understand, are far more intriguing. They don't flood the woman with constant reassurance or feel the need to be at her beck and call. Instead, they allow her to chase what she can't fully grasp. This subtle withholding, this controlled mystery, makes him someone she can't stop thinking about, someone whose presence lingers in her mind long after he's left. It's the power of unpredictability and intrigue at work. A man who understands how to maintain this balance becomes not just a partner, but an enigma, someone who remains captivating because he is not fully revealed. Women crave what they can't fully understand, and men who leave this element of mystery in the relationship are the ones who ultimately keep their appeal. In modern life, this principle can be applied by understanding the importance of holding back and not overcommitting to constant availability. You don't need to answer every message immediately, nor do you need to reveal all your thoughts at once. By leaving room for curiosity, by offering just enough for her to want more, you make your presence in her life something she truly values. This is the essence of attraction, the art of leaving a little something to the imagination, making her want to uncover more about who you are with each passing moment. If you found this valuable, comment below, and share it with someone who could benefit. Don't forget to subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. Comment to remember: I am an intriguing man, full of mystery and strength. 9. Women are attracted to men who can walk away. Women are instinctively drawn to men who understand their worth and are not afraid to walk away from situations that do not serve them. This kind of emotional independence is magnetic. It reflects a man's self-respect, confidence, and an unwavering belief in his own value, one that is not contingent on external validation. As the great philosopher Socrates once said, "He who is not a good servant will not be a good master." A man who knows when to walk away without hesitation, communicates, without uttering a word, that he is not desperate for anyone's approval. This signals emotional strength, and it makes him infinitely more attractive. The mistake many men make is rooted in fear: the fear of losing a woman, the fear of walking away, the fear of not being good enough. These fears drive them to tolerate disrespect, to overlook broken promises, and to excuse bad behavior in the hopes of winning her over with patience or understanding. But in truth, this only weakens their value in her eyes. Women test boundaries, often unconsciously, to gauge how much a man respects himself. When a man stays in a relationship that undermines his dignity, he fails the test. The respect she once had for him begins to erode. The solution is simple, but demands a strength that not every man possesses. Always be willing to walk away. This does not mean running away from challenges or dismissing women carelessly. It means having standards that are non-negotiable. If a woman disrespects him, flakes on her commitments, or treats him as an option rather than a priority, his best move is not to argue, plead, or beg for her affection, but to distance himself. Stepping away rather than chasing after her is what shifts the power dynamic in his favour. As a Stoic would say, the greatest wealth is to live content with little. Men who are firm in their self-worth and non-needy in relationships naturally draw women in. They are not easily swayed by emotions or external pressures. Their sense of self is unshakable. Ironically, when a woman realizes that a man is not afraid to lose her, she often desires him even more. Why? Because scarcity creates value. When a man is not easily replaceable, she wants to secure his attention and respect. It's a fundamental psychological truth. A man who values himself will always be valued by others. Understand this, and you will no longer be afraid of walking away. Be the man who knows his worth and refuses to settle for anything less than respect. The power is in your hands. Like, comment, and subscribe if you are ready to take control and never again tolerate disrespect. What will you do to make yourself irreplaceable today? 10. Women chase. Men who challenge them. Women are not drawn to men who make everything effortless. While it might seem appealing at first, a man who is too easy to win over, too eager to please, or always agreeable rarely sparks genuine passion. True attraction isn't built on comfort alone. It thrives on emotional and intellectual stimulation. A woman doesn't want her affections handed to her on a silver platter. She needs to feel that she must earn a man's attention and respect. This emotional investment, this feeling of accomplishment, makes her more deeply invested in the relationship. One of the biggest mistakes men make is being overly accommodating, agreeing with everything she says, avoiding disagreement to keep the peace, and never challenging her opinions. In their effort to please, they end up seeking her approval instead of making her work for theirs. This may seem like kindness, but in reality, it diminishes their value in her eyes. When a woman never has to try to keep a man's interest, she takes it for granted. The key to maintaining attraction is challenging her in a way that excites, not frustrates her. This doesn't mean being combative or distant, but rather creating a dynamic interaction. A man should hold his own in conversations, disagree when necessary, and introduce a playful sense of competition. Teasing, witty banter, and making her earn his compliments creates unpredictability, keeping her engaged and emotionally invested. A man who has high standards, who doesn't just let any woman easily walk into his life, becomes more valuable in her eyes. When a woman knows she must meet a man's expectations, she values his approval far more. If he is selective about who he gives his time and attention to, she instinctively wants to prove herself worthy of his focus. This principle is the foundation of emotional investment, realizing that his respect and affection are not given automatically, but must be earned. Mastering these principles isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding human nature and taking control of your dating life. Women are drawn to men who provide emotional experiences, set firm boundaries, maintain an air of mystery, lead confidently, and pursue a purpose that transcends relationships. When you shift your focus from seeking validation to living with intention, everything changes. Women begin to chase you rather than the other way around. Attraction isn't about looks or wealth alone. It's about how you make a woman feel. The more you challenge her, introduce unpredictability, and hold yourself to higher standards, the more invested she becomes. When a woman senses she has to earn your time and attention, she values it far more. As the philosopher Epictetus once said, Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. In relationships, the fewer demands you make for validation, the more valuable your presence becomes. So, if you want to attract a woman who is genuinely invested, stop chasing her. Start living intentionally, raise your standards, and watch as she begins to chase you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Have you ever noticed the shift in dynamics when you set higher standards and challenge a woman? Share your experiences in the comments below. Comment below. I challenge and attract. Hey there, I hope you found this video valuable. I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever noticed these dynamics in your relationships? Which of these principles have you experienced firsthand? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more content on attraction, psychology, and personal mastery. Remember, staying true to yourself, maintaining your purpose, and mastering the art of mystery can truly elevate your relationships. Keep your confidence high, stay focused on your goals, and don't be afraid to let your presence speak for itself. Stay disciplined, take control, and keep growing. See you in the next one.